Hello, welcome to another preptober video. So this one is a little different. So this is filing off serial numbers. So this is, you have a fanfic or you're basing your WIP off of fanfics. This is how to file off those serial numbers of the intellectual properties and make them original in your own. So let's dive right in. So step number one is braindump tropes that are used in the intellectual property canon. So is it Empire versus Rebellion? Is it Magical Boarding School? Is it Grumpy Sunshine? Is it The Mentor Dies Early? Is it Secret Identities? Only One Bed? Resurrection? Family Secrets? Small Town Secrets? Braindump, all the things that you can think of that are in the canon version. Step number two is braindump the canon character details and backstories. So are they an orphan? Are they an outcast? Is there an evil stepmother? Are they a lost princess? Are they the son of the director, heir to the throne, the last dragon rider, a secret agent, a vampire, a cannibal, a ghost hunter? Just braindump what these people are labeled as, what archetypes do they fall under, and then also what do they look like? So are they blonde hair, blue eyes? Do they have a recognizable scar or tattoo? Do they have like long red hair, glowing patterns under their skin, or do they have wings, etc.? So start listing out all those things because we're gonna be changing some of them up. Number three is braindump all of the canon world building elements. So is it a fantasy world? Is it contemporary? Is it future sci-fi? Is it historical? What types of magic systems are there? Is there one? What type of technology? Is it a boarding school? Is it like made up fantasy nations? Are there fantasy races? If so, which ones? Just braindump what is there in the world building for canon. Step number four is think of what do you wish the author would have done? So you're writing a fanfic, so you're changing something up. So possibilities are, is there a character death you didn't want to happen or one that you did want to happen that didn't? And then also, are you painting the characters in a different light? So are you showcasing the headmaster as a manipulative person who is using people without their knowledge? Are you highlighting the tragic backstory of a character that is there but not utilized to its full potential? Do you have certain events from canon that actually have more consequences? Is the villain not as evil as you would like in the original? Are they too lazy and only using their minions to do their bidding and you want them to get out of the chair? So like, there's all these different things that you could have changed for your fanfiction or want to change for your future fanfiction. So the next thing is, are you incorporating more fantasy creatures or beings? So were there supernatural creatures or beings in the canon but not used enough to your liking? Do you want to add dragons? Was there not enough variety of the types of creatures or supernatural beings? Do you want to change the lore or the strengths and weaknesses of these supernatural creatures and beings? Go for it. All right, so also explain the magic system to make it more hard, or you can soften it. So do you want the rules to be laid out for the spells and the runes and the bending and things like that, so that there's more scientific thought processes to crafting new magics? To make the audience think ahead and try and problem solve how to use what you've already got to solve new problems? Or do you think the magic system is too nitty-gritty and you want to make it more whimsy? Did you not like the ending that the author used or the twist that they added that changed everything? Did it ruin the story? Did it take it in a direction you didn't like? Change it up. Also, do you want it to have a different romantic pairing? Do you want other characters to get together that weren't together in canon? Here you can do it. You can add more scenes so that they have more screen time or page time together to get that relationship to fully develop and go from there. Do you want to show it from a different POV than the author used? So a different main character. Is there a side character that you want to have become the main character and give them a romance? Or do you want to tell the villain's story? Or do multi-POV and the original is just singular? Go for it. Also, do you want to incorporate more or less religion into your story? So is the original, does it have too many religious overtones? Change it. Do you want to add more paganism into the magic school? Add it. Do you want to organize or deorganize the religion in canon? Go for it. Do you wish the super cool magical religion was more widespread, like the Force? Do it. Do you want to fill plot holes that the author left? So were there any aspects of the original that were never explained to your liking? Were there any thought processes that characters had that you thought were out of character for them and you want to change that and make them more as you see that they would act or think? Were there any elements of the world building that were neglected or not utilized to their full extent? Or did someone else swoop in to save the day and save the main character's butt and you think that's a cop-out? So you want them to suffer through it instead and make them learn or grow despair. So up to you. Number 5, list out what you have already tweaked or filed off. So does your fanfic take place in an alternate universe? Is it magical to mundane, mundane to magical, set in a coffee shop or a tattoo parlor? Did you already add family members or original characters to this story? Are the school kids now full-on assassins or mafia members? Is the ruffian kid in a mundane high school now a magical tattoo artist? Or is the annoying kid obsessed with the camera now an intergalactic war photographer who takes pictures of the aftermath? Who knows? So is it in space now, in the past, an alternate dimension? Up to you. So also, what characters have you already reframed? So is the always smiling headmaster actually discovered to be manipulative, using others without their knowledge? Is the boy always jealous of his friends because his relationship with his own mother is terrible because she wishes he had been born a girl? Is the group of kids with a reputation of being bullies actually a group of people with traumatized family backstories and they are just trying to avoid further abuse and survive? What backstory elements for characters have you highlighted, changed, tweaked, or thrown out? So was Luke adopted by the Organas instead of Leia this time, which brings him closer to the Emperor so he can be discovered sooner as a kid and then traumatized? That one was a good one. Or was Kirk's time on Tarsus 4 as a child even more integral to how he acts as an adult? He was there during a famine and eugenics going down, so now does he have food hoarding tendencies and nightmares and night terrors? Is that developed more in your version of Kirk? So do you want a prophecy not involved in the story at all? Was a child checked on more often so that the abuse was discovered earlier on? Is a genius engineer actually have all of these quirks and peculiarities because they are trauma responses from their past? Are the characters from different cultures or backgrounds than canon? Also, is the original cast not varied enough? Diversify it. And another thing you can do is add or take away or swap magic systems or religion. So, what if Star Wars had alchemy instead of the Force? What if there were psychics and diviners in Dracula? What if the Hunger Games had blood magic? Start messing with things. It can be fun. Number 6, are you doing a crossover fan fiction? So where it's one media or book series meets another one. So Harry Potter and Avengers, or Star Wars and Star Trek, NCIS and Criminal Minds. Who knows? So what new character dynamics occur? Do trios of friends expand to 4? Do characters have a bodyguard present now from a different place? Do the new characters expose others for their follies earlier? Do 2 characters bond over trauma? is a new class taught in a boarding school? Who knows? So are you filling in holes in one or both of the world buildings when you cross them over? Are there shared aspects, like do they both have a philosopher's stone, and so now you're going to cross the paths and see what unfolds? Also, are you going to clash hard magic systems with soft magic systems? So does the hard magic system user get pulled into a soft magic system world and have an existential crisis when they can see people just wish things into existence when it costs them so much in their own world? Or does a soft magic system user go into a hard magic system world and struggle to be able to figure out how to use this version of magic? Or do both systems work at the same time? Or does one system just morph and transform into the other system because something happens with the world, and therefore the magic of the world changes? Are you making a character learn a different lesson by who they are now interacting with in the different scenarios? So does the main character have to learn how to be a kid again when they are pulled from a terrible place and put in a place of whimsy? Does the main character have to learn that there are bigger things than failing a test? Does the main character's worldview shatter when they discover that there are gods and aliens? Does the main character learn about unconditional love when they meet somebody from a different media instead of settling like they did in the original? Number 7, select at least 2 elements of the original IP, the original intellectual property, that are super recognizable or you dislike and have not already reframed or changed. So it could be a trope, a location, a magic system, a religion, a time period, who the main character is, romantic pairings, government systems, who the villain is, things like that. Pick at least 2. And then number 8, brainstorm alternatives for those chosen elements. So make lists, make mind maps. Don't just stop at the first answer, keep going, keep digging. What else could it be? And then number 9, pick the alternatives that you like or find interesting. So take your pick. And then number 10 is develop those to be more original. So you can't use the same spells or the same alchemical circles or the devil contracts used in the intellectual properties, but you can brainstorm what you like and don't like about those and what you would do differently and go from there. So merge things, split them apart, think to yourself, what would develop in this new world that you have made, the new crossover or the new variation? How would that change the elements that you are thinking about? So does new technology or magic come into play, or does old technology or magic come into play now? So is it wizards with guns? Is it sci-fi with phasers and ray guns, but now they're vulnerable to cursed physical shrapnel that necessitates physical stitches because their, dermal thingies don't work anymore on this cursed stuff? So start doing the old stuff with the new stuff and see how they play off each other. Are ancient amulets that were blessed or cursed by ancient gods long forgotten resurfacing after 1,000 years? Is a fairy Bible being translated by a computer software developed by a child genius? Number 11 is brainstorm what the repercussions would be if you did that swap out. So everything you tweak will have a ripple effect. Backwards probably, but definitely forwards. So if you change up your world building, it will probably change how the government developed, how people see people with magic, how the devils are treated as they roam around the world. Just think of the different ways that it would affect the world with these tweaks. Are the character dynamics super different now? Number 12 is select your new favorite combos. So you have your new ones, you have the canon ones, and you select your favorite combos of the ones that you developed with the originals. Then number 13 is you think, are there any extra twists you want to add? Anything else to drive in more emotion with this new version? So it's not always necessary, but it's just a fun exercise to think, is there anything else that I want to add, just to add that little flair of you onto it. So yeah. And then number 14 is rename things. So you gotta get that name bank going. Start renaming things. And number 15 is get to work on this new original story. So I hope that helps. And yeah, I will do a little bit of a deep dive into how I am doing this for my Star Wars inspired story. Okay, so I have my bullet journal here. So this is based off of the teaser trailer for Rogue One, where I thought the rebels would be captured and brainwashed and assimilated into the Empire, and then have to like break out of the brainwashing and remember their mission and complete it. So I was stoked. And then that didn't happen. So I took that brainwashing concept of what I thought Star Wars was gonna do, and I pulled that into here. So I also liked the idea of secret societies like Order of the Phoenix and Harry Potter, so I pulled that in here. So it's basically like a Star Wars, but like Harry Potter. And then I didn't want it to be an empire, so I switched out empire for an oligarchy. And so I thought, okay, it's an oligarchy, so that means there's a ruling class. And it's kind of like a theocracy a little bit. So the ruling class, there's going to be religion, and it's going to be solar system wide. I'm pulling this down to a solar system instead of a galaxy. And instead of the Force, I want to pull in like the Lovecraftian gods, because I am a nerd and I like them for their cosmic horroriness. And so I have this oligarchy with a religion now. So I was asking myself, what skills would the oligarchy need so badly they would brainwash and assimilate rebels into their construct? So I started brainstorming that. So what specific rebels would they be trying to bring in? Why would a secret society want to control the oligarchy from the shadows using fear tactics? So I tried to figure out what this variation of the Order of the Phoenix would do to try to control the government. What does the secret society's ultimate utopia look like? And why does this rebel group want the parents of the main character enough to save them and their kids and bring them in? So I start asking these questions and developing things. So I developed the religion. Now there's oracle priestesses and scribes and stargates that the elder gods will breathe through, and the priestesses will go blind and interpret them. And so it's very different than Star Wars now. There's no the Force. Instead, there's a religion with also these like yokai type of creatures, these little alien lesser gods that come through the gates. So yeah, I just started pulling things that I like. Like I like Japan, so I got the yokai going. I liked the Lovecraftian stuff. I liked the Star Wars stuff. I liked the Harry Potter stuff. And I just started mushing them all together. So I still have a rebel group against a big old government system, but it's very different now. The main character is still a pilot, a young hotshot pilot, and the oligarchy empire thing is still doing terrible things and controlling others. And there are subplots going on of like different bloodlines trying to be ended. So like it expanded from there. So it started with Star Wars, but then I basically rebuilt around it. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, just start with the thing that you love in that fandom and start tinkering with what you thought the author didn't do well or didn't deliver on that you thought they were going to, or just things that you love elsewhere as well, and start combining them, start crossing them, and see how they develop. So I hope that helps. And yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye.